Hey everyone, before we start, I just want to talk about Fiora's items and runes. And the first item that I would go for is Trinity Force. Trinity Force is really good on Fiora because all of the stats that it can give benefits her, such as HP, damage, attack speed, ability haste, as well as the Sheen passive, which she could easily proc using her first skill. An alternative for this item would be Divine Sunder, and this would only be better if the opponent has a lot of HP in their team, or you don't have much frontline and you would need to act as someone who needs to engage. But generally, I would rather get the Triforce because this gives us a bigger chance of carrying fights. Next item that I would go for is Blade of the Ruined King, another staple item for Fiora, allowing her to be able to chase down her targets as well as giving her lifesteal when she is in fights. Third item that I would go for is Steel-Plated Stoneplate. This allows her to become more tankier and last longer in team fights just in case she gets focused down. An alternative for this would be the Stasis Enchant. This might be a bit more expensive, but this is worth it if you're able to use it at the proper timing. Then we go for the Death's Dance, another great item on Fiora. Gives her damage, armor, ability haste, as well as the passive, which is very important for her, allowing her to become more sustainable in team fights, and it's something that you could easily use when you're able to get a takedown, because with your ultimate, your single target will be a lot stronger, and if you're able to take down a target, Death's Dance will help you get your HP back. Then the fifth item that I would go for is Guardian Angel. At this stage of the game, it is very important that you are alive in team fights, and this allows you to have a second chance just in case you get bursted down or you get focused down. Then Guardian Angel would help you get back into the fight. Last item is a flex depending on the opponent. You could go for the Sterak's Gauge if you want more tankiness and a bit more damage. You could go for the Maw of Malmortius if they have a lot of AP in their team. Or you could just go for Mortal Reminder if you need more damage as well as anti-healing. Then to the runes, the first rune that I would go for is Conqueror. This is gonna be your bread and butter. Very easy to proc. Gives you a lot of damage as well as lifesteal when you're able to fully stack. An alternative for this would be Kraken Slayer. This is really good as well if you want to have a stronger early game. But when it comes to scaling, Conqueror would be a lot better when you get to the later stages of the game. Second rune that I would go for is Triumph. This allows your damage to become higher when the enemy is low, as well as giving you more sustain when you're able to get a takedown. The only alternative rune that I would go for is Giant Slayer if they have a lot of high HP targets in their team. Third rune that I would go for is Hunter Titan. Even though you have your parry, having this rune allows you to live longer just in case you miss your parry or you get crowd controlled. An alternative for this would be Nullifying Orb. With all of the AD scaling that you have, this will allow you to become more sustainable in fights as well. Last rune that I would go for is Pathfinder. This makes your roams a bit faster and your clears a lot better. But an alternative would be Hunter Genius if you want to focus on cooldown reduction and having your skills always up in team fights. But I'd rather go for the Pathfinder because this allows my ganks to become a bit better. So that is it for Fiora's runes and items, and I will see you guys in game. Going to the game, this is where we're gonna show you how to play jungle Fiora efficiently and how to use her to her maximum potential. In this matchup, we're currently up against Jarvan, and in a Fiora vs Jarvan matchup, this is favorable towards Fiora in the early and late stages of the game. Early game because of her dual potential, and late game because of her scaling. Mid game would be favorable towards Jarvan because this is where he would spike and he has a lot stronger team fights than Fiora. So what we want to do is try to abuse the early game matchup and fight Jarvan in the scuttlers and scale properly into the late game where we're gonna be stronger overall. So the clear that I'm doing here right now is the red side clear where I go for my Krugs, red Raptors, then Flex, depending on what would happen on the map. The reason why I go for my Krugs rather than red, because what I want to do here is try to farm the jungle as much as possible in order to get my Triforce before the first objective. So ideal when playing Fiora jungle is to try to get Triforce, and if you're gonna have a hard time or you don't have much front line, another alternative would be the Divine Sunder because this would allow you to become more tankier in team fights. But I'd rather go for the Triforce because it makes you be able to carry the game a lot more. So when clearing the camps, one thing that I want to tell you guys is how to clear it efficiently. So what you want to do is try to always auto-attack before using your first skill and using auto-attack as well before using your third skill. So it would look like this. Auto first, auto third. That way you would have a lot of animation cancel. And another tip is to always use short lunges. So what do I mean by short lunges? When you use your first skill, you would want to dash at the smallest possible time, allowing your dash to deal damage faster. here we see the Jarvan clearing the bot Scott. Even though we have the winning matchup, the reason why I decided to not contest is because of the lane states. If you look at mid lane, Akalias doesn't have much HP, and our bot lane is pushed as well. So if I tried to contest Jarvan, even though I would win the matchup, if the Zed and their bot lane comes, I would have a hard time, and most likely, I would lose the fight. And even my teammates might get caught as well. So I decided against the risk and went for the top Scott instead in order to farm a lot more properly. So now that I've cleared the Scuttler, I go for my blue buff. Fiora's gank is not the strongest because she doesn't have much crowd control. So she is much better if your lane has a form of crowd control wherein she could follow up properly. So after clearing the blue buff, I see that Darius is very low, as you could see. The top side, 1/4 HP, Pantheon cancel the recall, which is really good. This signals us to try and catch the Darius. Unfortunately, there's a ward, and Darius was able to recall. So here, I cleared the Krugs instead because if you noticed, Jarvan was seen at the bot side, prompting me to have a safe invade here in the Krugs. And once the Raptors has spawned as well, I decided to clear it. This is a bit risky because I don't have vision on where the mid jungle is, but I decide to take a risk. If Jarvan comes, I can just go away. If he doesn't come, I would be able to steal 2 of his camps. And lo and behold, I see Jarvan topside. I'm able to steal 2 camps, and this is an advantage for me. Zed uses ulti in the mid. I wait for Zed's ulti to come out. We go for the Zed. Immediately use the parry once Jarvan uses the third first. Even with the Soraka plus Ashe ultimate, we outplay their skills and get the kill. So it's really good play for us, and that's why Fiora is really good into the Jarvan matchup, since you could predict Jarvan's third plus first skill and easily parry it, putting it into your favor. So instead of Jarvan stunning me, I was able to stun the Zed, and Soraka's ulti was not enough to help their mid. So very good start. We get a kill, we invade a lot of camps. We're very close to our Triforce, which is important before the first objective. So now, I go to the top side. I see that our Pantheon is low. Darius tries to go for the flash. So once I see him use the flash, this is a good time for me to go for the engage. I use my first skill to hit the creep, so it would easily get refreshed. Third skill, auto cancel. Then first skill again to get the kill. So one thing about Fiora's first skill is that you could use it to creeps. If your first skill hits creeps or champions, then the cooldown would get reduced. So as much as possible, you'd always want your first skill to hit minions, jungle monsters, or enemy champions, so it would have reduced cooldown. Jarvan's very low, so I go for the engage ulti for increased movement speed, and we get another kill. That was not the cleanest dive, but we got the job done. And that's another thing about Fiora, is that when you use your ultimate, you get additional move speed when near the target. So it's something that you could use to chase down your opponent. And always try to look for the vitals when you go for a duel. The easiest thing is to always use your first skill in order to hit the vital properly. So with the first objective up, I already have my Triforce. I don't want to start the objective because Fiora is not good at starting objectives because she could easily get punished. So what I'm doing right now is clearing the red buff, waiting for the Jarvan to come, and as soon as I don't see him, I try to get some vision first. I want to play it a bit safe. I'm 3-0. I have Triforce. If I start the dragon and they're able to help, then it would be very hard for me, and I wouldn't be able to use my kit as well. So the opponent does a great job. Instead of starting a dragon, he went for the herald instead. I'm not able to take the objective, but as soon as I see Jarvan at the top side, I immediately tell my team to start the dragon. Unfortunately, my teammates are not yet in position. I try to tell my team, I spam ping them because we really need to start the dragon because their jungle and baron lane are at the top side, and if we don't do anything, we would have a hard time. We use our second skill to dodge Zed's damage. I make a decision whether to chase the opponent down, decide to start the dragon instead because this is the most important thing in the map right now. So winning a clash is not important. What's important that we get a dragon, so we would get an overall trade. So Jarvan shows up. He has a Guardian Angel. I don't have any of my skills, so I just go back and farm my camps again. While looking at the minimap, Ezreal gets a great snipe, and as soon as I see Jarvan engaging our bot side, I go for the ultimate, Q in, then we burst Jarvan down. So what's good about Fiora's ult as well is even though the opponent has GA, if we're able to burst the opponent, her ultimate will still proc. So great punish. we not only remove Jarvan's GA, we are able to take him down as well and get and increase our snowball overall. Tried to chase the Soraka down and I tried to parry but I was silent, so it's not possible. I tell my team to go back because I don't have much mana and Fiora is quite reliant on mana. Ashe gets a great hook onto the Akali, forcing her to flash out, and we're a bit low. I see them that they want to push mid. I still have a lot of HP. So what I want to do here is just clear the wave before going back. There's a cannon minion. I use my smite, try to dodge some damage. Karma unfortunately gets caught in a bad position even though she's able to get a 3-man ulti. I don't have much HP and mana to follow up. So another wave comes. I try my best to poke them a bit. I use my first skill. Akali goes for the all-in. I try to chase down targets but I don't have any more mana. I accidentally last hit the Darius, but it's okay since we're able to save the tower and get a kill as well. Unfortunately, our Ezreal died, not sure where, but what's important is that we're getting a lot of kills and we're scaling properly so we would be able to carry the game in the later stages. So the opponent still wants to try and force mid lane. My teammates and I are there already. Akali tries to go for the engage. I poke the Ashe a bit. I get arrowed and immediately go back. Akali gets the kill because they used all of their skills at me. And Ezreal, I think, would be able to kill Soraka. No, not able. I check top side. I'm not in position to help. Pantheon gets an outplay onto the Zed. And things are really good, looking great for us. So now what I'm doing is, I'm trying to farm my items. The next item that I would want to get is Blade of the Ruined King, which is very important. This would allow me to be able to 1v1 anyone in the map, as well as split push a lot better, and to be able to take down towers a lot faster as well. Pantheon gets caught topside, Darius able to get the kill, and this allows me to push the tower so we would have a trade. Even though our Pantheon gets taken down, we take a tower, and this is very worth for us. And then the next thing that I want is to try to buy my Ruined King. So instead of positioning on the Herald, I try to clear the Krugs because once I'm able to clear this camp, I would be able to buy Ruined King, which would increase my power spike even more. So looking at the objective, it's spawning in 10 seconds. I tell my teammates to go there and try to contest in case they want to start at once. I'm able to buy my Ruined King and regen my mana a bit. There's a fight at mid lane. Zed uses his ultimate. Our Ezreal gets taken down. But what I'm doing here right now is I'm checking the ultimates that they've used. I saw that Zed used his ultimate, which is very crucial, which allows me to become a bit more aggressive because I know that Zed wouldn't be able to punish me. So opponent starts a Herald because it's a 4v5. Our ADC is down. We poke down the Zed. We immediately burst him down. I have my Blade of the Ruined King. I use my ultimate on the Ashe. We try to get her down. Darius pulls me. We force her flash as well, and I immediately go back to the Rift Herald because I've already done my job in zoning the opposing team. So now that we've gotten Herald, mid tower is something that I really want to take down. I want to try to hit the tower, but there's a lot of people trying to defend. I can't dive in because of Ashe's second skill. We poke the Darius down trying to defend the tower. Get him really low. Unfortunately, not able to take him down, but it's okay because Pantheon was able to take down the top tower since the opponent was busy covering for mid lane. Ezreal takes it down in the end as well, and that's another win for us. Take down 2 towers, get the Herald. So the next thing that we want to do here is to take the dragon. I tell my team to recall and heal so that we would be ready for the next objective. So in 20 seconds, dragon is spawning. 5-0-2, really good scoreline, and we're quite ahead in the game. Since you know this is solo queue, you can never be sure that it's never a sure win. Anything could happen. I see that Pantheon's getting engaged at the bot side. I presume that Zed uses ultimate. He gets the kill. I immediately ping my team to help. Use my ulti to get the additional movement speed. Zed is very low, so I want to focus the Soraka down. Akali with the backup, we get a kill. Zed teleports right beside me, stuck at Jarvan's ultimate. Even though our Pantheon gets down, we get 3 kills in exchange, which is really good. And this allows us to get a free dragon. So what's happening right now is Darius knows that his team are down. So what he does is to push mid, which is a good decision from him. But what we do here is I take the dragon, we take down Sec Tier 2 bottom tower, which is a net positive for us. I poke the Darius a bit. And since I know that Jarvan is coming to contest, I immediately switch to the Dragon and we get 2 Dragons. Infernal is really good for our team comp because we are heavily focused on damage. So the reason why I went for Stone Plate rather than the Stasis is that I want to get my items faster, and it's something that I could use to potentially outplay the opponents. Our Pantheon gets caught by the Jarvan ultimate. I go back and farm my camp. So even though we're getting slight advantages, the opponents are also getting some kills, which does not make this a sure win just yet. So the Baron will be spawning in 25 seconds. I check for Scuttler. The opponent takes a Scut, so I go back to farm my camps. The next item that I would want to get is usually Death's Dance, but in this situation where I have a lot of kills, where I have a bounty, I opt to go for the Guardian Angel instead. So the reason why I go for the Guardian Angel, third item, rather than a Death's Dance, is so that in case they focus me, I would still have Guardian Angel for the second life. If I didn't have this bounty, I would have went for the Death Stand because even though if they take me down, they wouldn't get as much gold as compared to now. So Jarvan does another engage mid lane. I go for the Darius because the number one thing I want to do is to prevent him from getting a reset. We take down Jarvan, and here, lo and behold, Darius gets a lot of reset, and with my Stone Plate, I got a bit of shield. We hit Jarvan's what do you call this? Passive. And we get another kill. Very crucial decision of buying Stone Plate and focusing the Darius first. Because if I didn't use my ulti on the Darius, then he would have lived a lot longer, and that would have been enough time to take me down. And luckily, now I know the word, Vitals. And luckily, once we take down the Darius, our ulti proc, we hit the Jarvan's Vitals and get another great outplay. So a fight is happening at the bot side. I know Zed is out of position. I immediately use my ultimate. I have my first skill to chase plus first. I have a Q plus first skill works on Fiora as long as you're in close range. So this is really good on proccing Vitals and chasing down opponents. So the opponent wants to try and chase us down. We try to set up a trap, but the hookshot spots us, so I tell my team to go back. Now we're 7-0. I have my GA. Just in case Zed gets a great ultimate or I get arrowed by Ashe, we have a second life. Stone Plate is something that you should not get all the time, especially if the opponent has Serpent's Fang. I think their Zed has Serpent's Fang, so changing it to Stasis would be would be good when you get to the later stages of the game, especially when you're item locked. So what we want to do right now is to take down Baron so that we would be able to split push properly. But before that, I see that Darius is out of position. We try to go for the punish, easily take down the Darius, but the opponent, they're able to get a counter kill in the mid lane. They take down our Ezreal. I ping my team that I'm coming on the soonest possible time. I try to go for the flank. Soraka flashes, we take down the Ashe instead. Pantheon gets a stun to the Soraka, but with the silence, I'm not confident that I would be able to chase her. Arakali gets taken down, and I see that Jarvan's on the top side. I'm trying to catch him because since he is the jungler, if I take down the Jarvan, it would be a high chance that we would be able to secure the dragon. But since we're not able to find the Jarvan, I take his camps instead and try to deny gold and XP. So at this stage of the game, we're outscaling Jarvan since he's going for a more tank build. Most likely he would just be a tank. I try to cover for the Pantheon. I don't want to go for the all-in because it would be a 2v4 and a big throw if we get taken down. So what I'm doing here right now is trying to conserve the GA as much as possible and reserve it for the more crucial team fights where we would get something meaningful. Because if I use my GA and we get Baron or Elder, then it would be worth losing the Guardian Angel. But if I lose my GA over a random fight where we get no objectives, then it wouldn't be as worth. So now I go for the Executioner's Calling. Their Soraka is very annoying. We have a lot of anti-healing in our kit as well. And since we're a dual type of champion, we would want to take down targets as quickly as possible. With Dragon spawning in 20 seconds, I position myself in catching possible opponents. And I tell my team to come as well. I see that Darius is overextended bot. And I immediately tell my team to go and help. We see that Zed is in the side lane, but I want to focus on the Darius. Darius flashes. I have already proc 2 Vitals with the 3rd Vital as well. Soraka with all of the healing. I decide to not chase the Darius anymore because I want to protect my carries. We take down the Jarvan, but he still has Guardian Angel. Zed flashes in. Is able to ignite the Ez. We lose the team fight. Akali is not able to take down the Darius. Very unfortunate. And it was a 5v4, which is not ideal. Pantheon takes the second tier tower top. The opponent starts the dragon, and with Pantheon's ultimate, the opponent is very low. I try to go for the Soraka because he's very annoying, but I go for the Jarvan instead because he's overextended, out of position. We chase down the Ashe. We see that she uses her stasis, and we take the Ashe as well. So with the third dragon, this gives us a lot of stacks, and this makes our late game a lot more scarier. And since we have a Ezreal, Fiora, and Akali, this is really good for us overall. So very good team fight, very good clashes, and we're able to conserve our Guardian Angel as well. So Darius tries to clear mid, but as soon as he uses his... As soon as my first skill doesn't hit, I immediately go for the Baron instead. Even though my smite is on cooldown, 3 of the opposing members are still down, so this would be quite a safe Baron. My team is on the way to help me. 5 seconds before my smite is up, and it's the perfect time to be able to take Baron. So the opponent doesn't intend to contest, and with 3 dragons, Baron, we're placed in a very good spot to end the game. So I farm a bit. I want to take the blue buff before going back, and then once I'm able to buy my items, which the next item that I'm getting is Death's Dance, then this would make me even more tankier and a lot more scarier in team fights. So with the Death's Dance, with blue buff, I am very much suited. What I'm thinking is if I should split push or I should go with the team. Pantheon should split because he has his ultimate to help, and since I see that Akali wants to split bot, I decide to go with my team and possibly go to the other lanes when needed. So I play as a skirmisher, roamer, and insurance just in case something happens on the map. Zed opens up with the ultimate onto the Karma. Our Ezreal gets arrowed as well. Darius is able to get a reset. It's a 4v5. We're not placed in a good position. I can't... I try to poke the opponents a bit, but with Elder spawning in 25 seconds, it's something that I wouldn't want to force. So I immediately tell my team to retreat. I take the blue buff instead, and this is not good for us because this would be a 5v3 onto the Elder buff. So the opponent does a great job catching off our Karma and Ezreal and puts them in a spot in order to take the Elder Dragon. So as I said earlier, even though we have Baron buff, we have 3 dragons. Since this is solo queue, there's always a time to throw, and I have to play a bit safe. Ezreal and Karma are already up, so what I want to do here is to buy time for my team to be able to come into position. Pantheon randomly decides to engage, so he gets caught immediately. So while they're starting the Elder, I'm waiting for the Karma and Ezreal to come, so I try to poke them a bit. Akali decides to go in as well, and this is when I go for the all-in. What I want to do is try to get the Soraka, but since Jarvan gets the great ultimate onto me, I had to go to the Jarvan. I try to kite them, take a lot of damage onto Zed. He's able to shadow out. Darius takes me down. I had to expend my GA, Ashe Arrow, and since they're quite low, I don't want to start the Elder buff because it's gonna be a 5v3. So what I'm doing is just farming my camps, and as soon as I see Ezreal take down the Ashe, I see that Soraka is very low as well. Zed gets an ultimate onto me. I have my second skill, but he's still able to deal a lot of damage, which is not good. So since they know that I have no HP, they start the Elder Dragon. I lifesteal a bit from the Raptors. I get the Honey Fruit as well, and this gives me a lot of HP to contest the Baron. Pantheon is split pushing top. I try to tell him to go for the Elder Dragon because this is a good spot for us. 4v4. It's gonna be a 4v4, which is in favor of us because they don't have their ADC. So Darius and Jarvan decides to YOLO. I misplay onto the smite. Very unfortunate. We take down their Soraka, Jarvan as well. But since they have the Elder buff, they are dealing a lot of damage. Zed and Darius uses the ultimate. Even with my Stone Plate, they have the Elder debuff, and I get my first death. Very unfortunate, because if I'm able to get the Elder buff, then we would be able to get the Baron and end the game immediately after that. So very unfortunate. This allows the opponents to stall the game a lot longer and possibly get the Baron buff as well. What I want to do right now is to prevent the opponents from getting Baron, because this would allow them to split push, which is not good for us since Pantheon is not that strong when it comes to the late game. I know that they won't start Baron because Jarvan is still down, which is their jungler, and once he spawns, I would spawn shortly. This would allow me to contest if they want to force the issue. Ezreal decides to Arcane Shift in, immediately gets punished by Zed, which is very weird because Zed still had the Elder buff. And what I want to do here is to wait for their Elder to expire before fighting, because if their Elder expires, then we would have the advantage again since we have the 3 Dragon buff. Now what I'm doing right now is trying to look for the opponent. Zed tries to poke me down, brings me down to half HP, which is not good. Our team tries to go for the Darius. I use my ultimate, try to poke them a bit. Jarvan zones me. I had to flash out because it's very important that I don't die in these fights. Because the moment I die, this is the moment that they're gonna be able to take the Baron as well. So with Ezreal spawning in 10 seconds, and they still had their Baron buff, it was a 4v5 against Elder, which is not ideal. Most likely, I have to give this Baron, and this puts us in a very, very scary situation, since they would have the they would be able to buff the minions, and one mistake would probably spell GG for us. Karma tries to chase someone down. He finds the Ashe. So I immediately tell the Karma to chase because I'm also there as well. Soraka ultimate tries to buy Ashe a lot more time. I go for the ultimate. I poke the Ashe a bit. But as soon as I see Ashe user Zhonya's and the opponents are there, I back off, because even though if I'm able to take Ashe, if I waste my GA plus my own life for it, then it wouldn't be worth, because their Ashe is more of a utility Ashe since she's building Imperial Mandate. So what I'm doing right now is waiting for the Baron buff to expire and try to push the side lanes to not allow them to push multiple lanes at once. So with my Guardian Angel up, this would give me extra survivability. Arrow hits. Darius almost gets a hook. I use the ultimate to try and zone them out. Remove the control ward and go back into the base. So what I'm doing right now is waiting for the blue buff to spawn. I tell my team to be careful. Zed is using his ultimate to poke down the Ezreal. I see Darius at the bot side, so I tell my team that they could engage since it's gonna be a 4v5. But Pantheon decides not to ultimate, so I just go back and take my blue buff. So what's happening right now is we're just stalling time, waiting for their Baron to expire, so it would be an even fight again. Elder spawning in 10 seconds. I try to poke them down a bit because I know that Darius is on the bot side, and I played a bit risky, which did not pay off because this costed my Guardian Angel. Even though I'm able to get out, our Ezreal gets caught by the silence. Zed ultimates our Ezreal. I get taken down as well. Akali goes in, tries to help our team. So very crucial mistake. I think this is the biggest mistake of the game. This made my team this placed my team in a very scary position. Our Akali goes down. Pantheon was able to get a kill onto the Ashe, but this opens up our base. Karma still alive with 1 HP, which is very important, and it's currently a 2v4. Pantheon pokes the Jarvan a bit, dodges the Zed ultimate, and hopefully we're able to buy time for me to respawn again. So with Elder up, this is very scary. I try to switch my item to TP just in case, but it's too late. So what you want to do with TP, since it goes on a 35-second cooldown when you buy it, is as soon as you die, you always want to purchase the TP ASAP, which is another mistake that I did. So I thought they were going for the Elder. They decided against it because they're quite low, and even though we lost an inhibitor, it's better than losing our Nexus. Now that my Guardian Angel is down, I decide to replace it, and I tell my team to group because I'm quite confident if we fight as a 5v5, then we would win because we have a lot better scaling as well as the triple dragons. So my teammate, my Karma recalls. I see that the opponents are trying to start Elder. Pop the Blast Cone. Zed uses the ultimate. I try to dodge. Arrow hits me. Big poke onto me. Zed's entire combo hits me, putting me in very low HP, which is not good. So what I'm doing right now is waiting for the Elder to go low. Immediately lunge. Steal the Elder, which is very crucial. Even though we get taken down, we burn Darius' ultimate. But the most important thing is that I'm able to steal Elder. So even though their Jarvan was able to steal Elder a while ago, now it's my turn to get the Elder. And with that, we easily clean up and possibly end the game. All of my teammates are very healthy. Their bot lane is open, and with 40 seconds respawn time, I hopefully my team would be able to end the game by then. So Pantheon decides to recall to defend the base just in case, but this is I think this is inevitable that we would get the victory, and very important that I'm able to take down the Elder, because if I didn't steal the Elder, this would put my team in a very scary situation, and the opponent might just win off of that. Very clean early to mid game, a bit sloppy late game, but this goes to show how strong Fiora is. So one tip with Fiora is to not start fights, as what happened there. I started the engage and I get punished for it. So with that, we get 87%. We get MVP, a lot of achievements as well. Our score is 9-3-11. Not almost the most damage dealt, but most damage received. Get MVP, and I hope you guys enjoyed our Fiora tutorial. That is for me, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Ciao, ciao. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.